Health departments across the country are updating their guidance on how long to quarantine based on new data from the CDC. KOAM's Kate Kelly spoke with her sister's family about why they're eager to be given the all clear sooner rather than later.
This is my nephew's room, and he's spending a lot of extra time here after testing positive for COVID-19. He got tested after his foster siblings were exposed. So far, he's asymptomatic.
My mom keeps taking my temperature, and I've yet to have a fever.
Kobe couldn't believe he had COVID. He says he's still feeling just fine, but that's what worries him about the coronavirus, how it can spread undetected. The health department advised him to stay in his room and away from everyone else as much as possible, since he's the only one in the household who tested positive.
Yeah, it is a little different. It's a little weird having to wear a mask leaving your room. It's a little different feeling. But it's not too hard with like technology and everything. I just FaceTime my mom, ask her to give me a drink or something.
My sister is working from home, monitoring Kobe and trying to keep her 3 foster kids, ages 6, 3, and 2, all entertained. Fortunately for her, the health department says she and the kids only need to quarantine for a total of 10 days rather than 14.
A 10-day quarantine mitigates most of the risk. It's not all of the risk. There's still a tiny percentage of folks that can get that, come down symptomatic from day 11 to 14, but 10 days gets the vast majority of the people. So that's the new quarantine timeline, 10 days from last exposure. There's also another nuanced option of potentially coming out of quarantine on day 7. But to come off of quarantine on day 7, you have to have a negative test result.
The reduced quarantine time might just save my sister's sanity.
She's ready to go back. The kids are wreaking havoc. They're all over the place.
Kobe says it's important for everyone to take this pandemic seriously. He worries about getting his mom and foster siblings sick, and he's also getting tired of living in his room.
It's awful. I do not recommend this. I recommend everyone wear a mask. Everyone stay 6 feet apart.
In Joplin, Kate Kelly, KOAM News.
There's been no change to isolation procedures for those who test positive for COVID. If you're showing symptoms, you're required to isolate for 10 days. If you're not showing symptoms or asymptomatic like Kobe, you're required to isolate for 10 days after the testing date. If symptoms like a fever persist, so does your isolation time.